Hello, gamers!
I like your cut, G.
What is going on, Multiversers? That is right, Multiversers. That won the poll yesterday in the community tab, so we'll see if people like being called Multiverse. I mean, over 50% of people voted for it, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, we got a tier list video here for you today. This is the third time I'm recording this, because the first time the video came in at 35 minutes. No, this video doesn't need to be 35 minutes. Then the second time I cut it down to 29 minutes. Like, no, I could do shorter, so I'm going to get right to the point. Tier list. What's the tier list based off of? You see the 4 tiers. Lock, really likely, heavy fan favorites, and then they're in the conversation. So that's basically me trying to predict which characters I think are locks for the game, which characters are going to be very likely, which characters are the heavy fan favorites, although that's not really predicting, we kind of know that, and then which characters are probably in the conversation that might make sort of a sleeper pick for the game. So let's just get into it. There's only 2 characters for locks, and I think some people, if you know, you know, so I'm just going to show them both off right now. Rick Sanchez and Gandalf. Because of reasons, but if you know, you know. And if you don't know, this is probably your first Multiversus video. If that's the case, hello. Welcome to the community. But I definitely believe Rick Sanchez and Gandalf are locks for the game. Now that we got the easy part out of the way, let's go to the really likely characters. And this is where I get hung up a lot, so I'm going to try to go fast. There might not be much of an explanation, but I'll try to do what I can. So, really likely, first character, Johnny Bravo. Reasons, but even if those reasons weren't there, I think Johnny Bravo is very likely to be in the game. Very well known, a lot of people like him, a lot of people do want him actually, so maybe if those reasons weren't out there, maybe it would slide him down the really likely portion, you know, maybe towards the middle end of the this list, but I still believe he's very likely for the game. Next up, Fred Flintstone. If, again, those reasons didn't exist, there's no way Fred's very likely. If Multiversus popped up with a trailer today, for the first time ever, nobody's ever heard of it before, there's no way anyone's saying Fred Flintstone's likely to be a playable character in a platform fighter. No way that's not happening. Impossible. But because of those reasons, Fred's definitely really likely. Next up, Mortal Kombat. It doesn't say a specific character, but then again, we could list so many. Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, Raiden, Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, Liu Kang, Shao Kahn, Reptile, whoever you want, put them in there. I just think Mortal Kombat, at least one character is really likely. Again, this doesn't have to be for, I guess I didn't say this before, but this isn't based on base roster only. This is just, at some point, I think these are really likely for the game. There's heavy fan favorites, which I think the developers are listening to, and if they want the game to continue to succeed, then they're going to have to put characters in that the fans are requesting. If we request it, we're going to continue playing the game, so that's kind of how the tier list broke down, but Mortal Kombat, at least one character for sure. After that, Neo, The Matrix. I mean, look, it's The Matrix, it's giant, like, when the first trilogy came out, it, like, was the movie trilogy, it was like the franchise. You had to see this. If it was in theaters, you better have went and seen it. But, I mean, they just had the 4th movie come out, about a couple weeks ago, right? I haven't seen it yet. And I have HBO Max. How am I not watching this? But Neo, Matrix, regardless, is a very big property, and I believe some way it's going to be really likely to be in this game as a playable character. Doesn't have to be Neo, but Matrix character regardless. Next up, Mad Max. I'm just going to say it like this. Reasons? Well, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, you don't need to know. But reasons. But if those reasons didn't exist, there's no way. I wouldn't put him as really likely. I'd probably put him in the conversation. But because of reasons, he's where he's at. After Mad Max, who do we got? Ben 10. I firmly 1 million bajillion percent, I 10 billion jillion percent believe Ben 10 is really likely for the game. Again, doesn't have to necessarily be really likely for base game, but at some point, he will be playable. I'm 99.10% sure he will be playable. He's too highly requested. He's like the #1 requested character in the official Multiversus server. The devs that have to be, Tony, they're all aware people want Ben 10. So, it's just a matter of figuring out how he works. Enough about Ben 10. See, this is where I get caught up on characters, and then I start spitballing and rolling and whatever. After Ben 10, who do we got? Daffy Duck. Simple reason. Maybe Daffy's not your most wanted Looney Tunes character, but Daffy's probably second in line because the simple reason, if you have Bugs, you have to have Daffy. I mean, I think most of us would, probably all of us agree on that, to be honest. And then the last character, King Kong. I think Warner Brothers just has no problem putting King Kong out there. I do think he's got a pretty decent chance to be playable. I think he is really likely. Again, you'll have to shrink him down a little bit, but I still believe you can do that. And again, he's got to be bigger than most of the other characters, right? To kind of maintain the size of him. He can still be himself, even if you shrink him down a little bit. But there you go. There's really likely. Now the heavy fan favorites. First up, Animaniacs. It's a Warner Brothers fighting game. Those are the Warner siblings. Makes sense, right? Next up, Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack, yeah, now that I think of it, should have been first. Samurai Jack probably should have been put in really likely, I'll be honest. I probably should have put him in really likely. But he's in heavy fan favorites, no doubt. I would put money on Samurai Jack being a playable character in Multiversus within the first year of the game being released. I'd put money on, definitely. I firmly believe he will. After Samurai Jack, the Joker. I don't mean this in a negative way, but I hope the roster doesn't get watered down with DC characters. What I mean is, not in a negative way. I love the Joker, I love DC. I don't want one series, one franchise, if you will. I don't want that to overwhelm the roster. This is literally called Multiversus. Take from that show, take from that movie, take from that show, take from that movie, take from that, where video games, take from wherever. Just don't overdo it with one specific franchise, because then it's not really Multiverses anymore when you're just, you know. But we have Injustice after all, so there you go. But Joker, I think definitely at the top of the list if DC gets a fifth character. Next up, Powerpuff Girls. They won a poll. There's a series out there called The Living Roster. Lost Tangent Outpost does it. It's pretty cool. It does it about once a week. But Powerpuff Girls won a poll for like a Cartoon Network rep, and it's the Powerpuff Girls. Everybody knows who they are. They're iconic. They're classic. They're awesome. I mean, I can't get wrapped up in this, so Powerpuff Girls definitely fan favorites. Devs should know this, and I think they have a pretty solid chance of being playable at some point. Maybe all three in one at the same time, or a rotation system, Pokemon Trainer, like one Powerpuff Girl at a time. Maybe they're three separate characters. I don't know. After that, Harry Potter. There's maybe some reasons to kind of maybe bump him up to really likely, or just a Harry Potter character in general. You could probably bump him up to really likely, but I'm going to say there's also other maybe legal issues, possibly, that kind of maybe hinder any Harry Potter chance. So I put him in heavy fan favorites because they are definitely, but we got to see how that one goes. That's kind of more of a, all right, let's sit back and wait, see how it plays out. But there you go. After Harry Potter, Ed, and Eddie, no doubt. Another great trio, another Cartoon Network, very heavy fan favorite character, which, again, they're perfectly placed in this tier list. And I do believe they have a chance. I probably should have put them a little bit lower, I'll be honest. Yeah, I just think maybe I should have placed them a little bit lower, but they are fan favorites, and you never know. The devs could surprise us. Next up, horror film icon. So I got Freddy Krueger's picture, but horror film icon. So it could be Freddy Krueger. It could be Pennywise the Clown. It could be, whoever else you want to lump in there that's Warner Brothers. We could choose whoever we want, but I think fan favorites. Again, the tier name speaks for itself. A horror film character should be definitely inconsiderate. More so, not, they're in the conversation, but they're more than that, right? They are more requested than, all right, yeah, just throw their name out there and we'll see how it happens. But horror film icons, no doubt. So yeah. Next up, Mordecai. See, I'm getting caught up again. I just need to, let's go. Mordecai, Rigby, Mordecai by himself, Rigby by himself, whatever it might be. Somebody from the regular show. So Mordecai here, fan favorite, should be definitely considered. Great show. Tons of people want him. He requested a fair amount. So yes, definitely in the conversation. Actually, more in the conversation, but yeah, you get it. Mordecai. Next up, Gumball. I'll be honest, no idea who this is. I have no idea. What's the show name? Gumball, The Adventures of Gumball? I honestly, no clue who this is. I just see the name thrown around a lot, so heavy fan favorites, you're where you need to be. Next up, a third Looney Tunes character. And by that, it could literally be anybody. I do firmly believe Daffy should be that very solid, agreeable second Looney Tunes character, and then third one overall, heavy fan favorites. If DC can get 4 characters, I think Looney Tunes could get 3. Very possible. Next, we got Scooby-Doo. This isn't a personal pick, but we'll just use the argument. Shaggy's in here. Why can't he have his partner in crime? Right? This game is literally based, one of the big things about it is based on 2v2 modes. Having Shaggy and Scooby actually teaming up to face somebody else would be phenomenal. Somebody like Morty. If Rick becomes playable, the question then will become, for that fan base, where's Morty? So imagine Rick and Morty fighting Scooby and Shaggy, for example. That's pretty freaking cool. 2 iconic duos duking it out, battling it out on the Multiversus field. Oh, I'd love to see that. So Morty, definitely a fan favorite, but kind of on the lower end. And last but not least, Courage the Cowardly Dog. I debated where to put this in the conversation. I still think he's a fan favorite, but probably not more so than anybody else I have on here. Again, opinion, I could be wrong. But that's where I got Courage. His name gets thrown around, so I think that's fair. Last tier list, or tier section we got in the conversation. So these are kind of characters that would be sleeper picks, if you will. Maybe not too much consideration, but their name might get thrown around here or there. First up, Lego characters in general. If Lego characters can be possible, could you imagine a Lego character out there literally building around everybody else? Is it a fair comparison to, say, Steve in Smash Bros? Is that fair? No? Yay? I don't know. But just a Lego character in general, I think would be really fun, really unique, and maybe a bit of a surprise. So that'd be cool. Next up, the Iron Giant. Let's just say, does he fight? I'll let you guys answer that. Does Iron Giant fight? Does he belong in a fighting game? I don't know. His name gets thrown around, so he's in the conversation. Next, we got the Mask. Probably the animated version. But again, this is a character that pretty much that goes with everything else here. The name gets thrown around a bit. Not a whole lot, but a bit, and it's warranted in the conversation. So, the Mask, maybe it happens. Sleeper, wacky pick. Sure, go with it. Next, PIBBY. Same thing as GUMBALL. I have no idea who these are. Never seen their shows. The name is just thrown around. So, maybe they should be fan favorites. Maybe they should be really likely. I have no clue. Don't know who they are. I just seen the name. So, I at least included them on the list. Is that good? Maybe not. I don't know. Next, MAXWELL, Scribblenauts. Same idea as Mortal Kombat. If we're going to talk Multiversus, and we're going to talk about Warner Brothers games, isn't Scribblenauts is Warner Brothers, right? Did I do my research properly? I think I did. But Scribblenauts, MAXWELL, you got to be in the conversation. Got to be. If we're going to talk TV shows and movies, how are we not talking other video games characters as well? MAXWELL should be in the conversation. Next, Austin Powers had a pretty decent amount of cameo time in Space Jam 2, and that's kind of what I'm basing this on. Austin Powers is probably in the conversation. I wouldn't say too likely, but the name should be up. If Warner Brothers really wanted to push Austin Powers' character, whether it's him himself, Dr. Evil, whoever, Mini-Me, whatever, then yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance. But they're in the conversation at least. Next, Yogi Bear. If Fred Flintstone would be in the conversation, and he is, well, he's much more likely, but if Fred Flintstone's being talked about, I mean, Yogi Bear has to be talked about, right? He's got to be in the conversation as well. Simple as that. Next, Popeye. Now, I might be wrong, but I've been told by a few people, and I also had 2 people tell me no. So, and when I typed it into the old Google machine, it said, who owns Popeye the Sailor Man? And it came back with, well, it didn't say Warner Brothers, so I'm not sure. But I've been told Popeye is owned by Warner Brothers. If so, yeah, he's got to be in the conversation. It's Popeye. He could duke it out, right? Some spinach. Look at the forearms. Dude, come on. He should be in the conversation. Maybe not a likely character, but put him in the conversation. And then last but not least, I'm going to go with Grim or Billy and Mandy. I'll say Grim because Grim Reapers are pretty awesome. Fighting with the Scythe. Come on. Grim Reaper, regardless. So, that's my list. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. I'm going to stop rambling. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you think anything was wrong or you want to rearrange something, just say so in the comments. I won't be offended. But that is going to be it. Yeah, bye.